What movie did you hate as you were watching it and couldn't wait for it to be over? A little controversial, but the Snyder Cut. I liked it for a couple hours, but after that I just wished for something to kill me. Tomorrowland. The trailer looked good, but I was so bored during the entire thing. Wonder Woman 1984. Closest I've ever been to walking out of a theater. Unfortunate too, because the first WW movie was great. Dirty Dancing. Just a horrible movie. A girlfriend forced me to watch it. And I still despise that "I've had the time of my life" song to this day because of the movie. Sorry to anyone reading this who may have worked on the movie. But not too sorry, as you made a bag of money. The world is not a better place because of that movie. There's Something About Mary. I know that so many people loved this movie. But the jokes never landed for me and I hated the movie. Manos. The Hands of Fate. Could not be worse if it tried. Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Harley Quinn, WW84. Suicide Squad. It was fucking terrible from beginning to end. Napoleon Dynamite. I watched it because it was the hotness in my peers. Not as much my specific circle of friends. But many people I knew. I literally cannot comprehend the love for it. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Not here to mock or deride anyone for liking it, just don't see the appeal. Myself. People are going to hate me for this. But Inception. I'm sure it's a great film. But my poor brain cannot follow the plot to save my life. Also, I zoned out for like 5 minutes near the middle and I completely lost the plot. I generally don't walk out of cinemas, since I doubt I'd get my money back. Or that I'd even ask. Ha. Total Recall. 2012. Suicide Squad. 2016. The Last Jedi. 2017. Unpopular opinion, but any Star Wars movie. I've just never been into sci-fi and can't get past the way it looks. Han Solo. I may be murdered, but I kinda was dragged into Star Wars by my dad and just stopped caring after that movie. Blair Witch Project. I knew it was all bullshit to begin with, but it just dragged out. Gonna get hate for this, but Spider-Man Homecoming was so boring. That's when I realized I just had enough of superhero movies. Eyes Wide Shut. It was painful, boring and dull. It was supposed to be all sexy and mysterious. No, it was not. It was the second feature at a double bill. The first was American Pie. The combo was weird to say the least. Hypersexual movies. And the hottest thing in both films was Stifler's mom. The Hateful Eight. I love Tarantino films, but there was not a redeeming character in this. Just ugliness all around. Jack and Jill. Almost my entire grade went to watch it when I was 14. Aeon Flux. We walked out of the theater, had no clue what was going on. Fairly recent, but The Devil All the Time. There were a lot of good acting, but the story was just so depressing. The resolutions barely made up for it. Any theater movie. It sucks. It's always too cold. Food is too expensive. I can't move at all. I hate it. Aquaman. My ex wanted to see it because of the guy who plays Aquaman. During the desert scene where they need water to get a machine working, I turned to her and said, he could piss on it. Then Aquaman said, I could have pissed on it. That's when we left the theater. Another time I lost a bet and had to watch the awful Ghostbusters remake. I finished it, but only after turning it into a drinking game. Transformers. The Last Night. Every time I watch it I always end up in horrible pain. Yes. It was so bad it literally hurts to watch. Controversial. But the Lord of the Rings movies. I purposefully went to sleep during them. Mainly it was all the slow-motion scenes that drove me nuts. If they ran them in real time, the movies would only be an hour long. By the way, I'm a huge fantasy buff. Also, The King's Speech. So boring. Any MCU movie. They're all bloated. I don't care for the characters. And you can guess the plot in about 30 seconds of critical thinking. Not really a movie person in general. Star Wars The Force Awakens. It was physically painful to watch this poor excuse for a movie. 1. Iron Man 2 and 3 2. Thor. Ragnarok 3. Godzilla. King of the Monsters 4. Monster Hunter 5. That Pacific Rim sequel. The Russian parody of Avengers called Guardians. It was miserable. Tesla. Awful pretentious movie that was impossible to follow. Kroll. And as a bonus, I actually saw it in a theater. I would have left early, but I was too young to drive and the theater was too far away from my house to walk. If you have a thing for bad movies, I highly recommend it. My wife said, "You'll love it. It's a comedy. You see." But all I did was cry through the end of *Marley and Me*. Rosemary's Baby. I was so entranced that I completely lost myself for the duration of the film. Years ago, my at the time girlfriend wanted me to see Minions with her. It was an absolute chore to watch. I haven't walked out of a movie. But the ones that I hated the whole time were Shrek the Third, Aragon, and the Bewitched movie. My GF wanted to see Deadly Illusions. Not long after I was playing games on the phone. And spending time on Reddit. Annihilation. It diverged from the book so much it just infuriated me. Captain Fantastic. Oh, I just hate that movie in so many ways. The only movie I've ever walked out of was The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. I was watching it and getting angry with how terrible it was. Turned to my friend to see if he felt the same and we decided to just save an hour of our lives. There's this one actor who's acclaimed to hell and back and stars in many objectively great movies. But I can't watch them because I hate his smug face. Imagine having all the Nolan's Batmans ruined like that. Mine was Mamma Mia. My mother was all excited to receive the DVD for Christmas. And I usually agree with her about movies. Plus it had Meryl Streep. So I gave it a go. I didn't think I hated musicals. I didn't think I hated ABBA. I'm not sure anymore. Because that movie took a part of my soul as it left my body out of boredom. Boogie Nights. Who would have thought that a film about porn could be so tedious? The Spirit. I walked out after like the first 20 minutes. I just knew it was going to be awful. Joy. Fucking depressing, and the end where it pays off is not redeeming at all. The English Patient. My wife and I established a nudge and leave rule after that movie. She used it on Starship Troopers. So it wasn't a perfect system. Yentl 1983. Wife wanted me to watch it with her. My goodness, did I suffer. Netflix 365 Days. Me and an ex watched it and we were bored out of our minds. We just made jokes of it the whole time. We ended up skipping a bunch of scenes because of how boring it was. Downsizing. Was so excited after seeing the trailers and it went to complete shit. Such a wasted premise. Most movies. Lately. With all the clichés. Horrible acting. Horrible writing. Tropes. Remakes. Sequels. Prequels. Etc. I have a hard time sitting through the majority of movies in the last 15-ish years. Controversial, but Wolfwalkers. It felt like it was written by an 11-year-old on Tumblr.